Live from Studio 9, signed to our own 5-year deal with Collingwood, it's The Footy Show. Please welcome Gary Lyon and James Brayshaw.
Welcome to the Footy Show. Up and about tonight, Jim. Getting down the finals series. Now, been a massive week in footy. Two of the biggest stories of all time have broken this week. Of course, Collingwood have managed to secure Mick Malthouse and Nathan Buckley for the next 5 years, if you don't mind. Now, the next question is it going to work? And who better to put the questions to the Collingwood president than Sam Newman one-on-one tonight here in the Footy Show.
Absolutely, and unusual that one of the biggest stories in football of the week, ladies and gentlemen, would surround a rugby league player. But Carmichael Hunt, I'm not going to try it again, has defected, Gary. He's gone from the Gold Coast to the Gold Coast, but he's playing footy, and Craig Hutchison catches up with him a little later on in the footy.
Actually, tossed a coin to see who was going to say that name. Yeah. I don't trust myself, Jim, at the moment.
Be careful with it.
World record number 4 is on the menu tonight. The Guinness World Record, Shane Crawford with a stall gift winner. About to do something extraordinary out in the car park very, very shortly.
And we've got a very famous North Melbourne supporter in the audience. This man made an awful mess of us on the weekend. He is the superstar from Brisbane. He makes the first of an all-star panel. Brad Sewell is going to join Jonathan Brown and Bill Brownless and the big panel on the Footy Show.
Yep. Very, very big show. A lot to get through. Sammy Newman's been over in Perth for the local derby over there. He's done street talk in the streets of Perth. That's something to look forward to. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. To have your company indeed. Big show, as I said at the start, getting down towards the business end of the AFL season. Finals just around the corner. A very open race it is as well. Two teams not in the race, of course, the West Coast Eagles and the Fremantle Dockers. That didn't stop this man heading over there during the week. Please welcome the one and only 300-game superstar from Geelong, John Sammy Newman.
Been to Perth, Foss.
Did I hear out the back? We've got the latest transfer draftee, Carmichael. What's his name?
No. What is his name? Carmichael.
Oh, Carmichael. Now, look, I was a guest of the Dockers. Look, that was on my... That was it. There it is there. That's me. Rick Hart very kindly... let me go to the game, the Derby. Over there, I've been over there for 5 days. Jim,
how was it?
How was it?
Oh, it's great over there.
Yeah?
No,
my phone's beeping. I need my phone because... in just a sec. Sorry about that.
You got your phone on.
Well, I have because I've got it...
Taking the job casually?
I've got it for a specific reason. Sorry.
Have you?
Now, tell me about Perth. 5 days.
Yeah, over there, just chatted to... incidentally... who did you chat to? Well, I chatted to a lot of people over there.
Like doing the circuit?
Yeah, met the governor at the Dockers lunch and his lovely wife.
The governess?
Yeah, Lady Astor or... and I did a number of talks. There's a rotten, dirty little scab who came to one of my talks.
Oh, no.
A dirty little scab. Now, would you go to a sports night or lunch and report what the speaker said and have it filmed and reported in the paper? Because it's provocative and it's a little risque, some of the things you say. But when you write it down, this dirty little dishonest scab. We won't mention his name, Glenn, accordingly. He wrote...
Oh, no.
A dishonest, absolutely disgraceful dishonest out about what I earned. That is just a lie.
How much do you have you there for?
30.
Oh, a bit under.
No, that is a lie, Gary. Anne wrote down what I said. All the characteristics of a dog, young Glenn has, except loyalty. And that's the only thing a dog has going for it. And if you ain't got loyalty, if you're a dog, you are a scab.
But when you go and talk, it's a public...
no,
forum.
mate, it's not. It's not. He was asked if he could. He was asked not to report on what I say.
Okay.
He asked permission and he didn't get it, obviously,
Well,
because you
different.
say ridiculous things. And it was filmed and half the stuff I say is on some Twitter or blogger or...
What, did some of your rib ticklers fall a bit flat, Fosbury?
Dishonest, unethical turd he is.
Did you, mate?
Yes, mate, if you want to come and plagiarise all the stuff and put it in the paper and put it under your name as an article, at least pay to come to the function for a start.
Well, let's not worry about him. Did you make enough to get...
And then I said... Now, could I just say this about... And then it was... someone asked me a question about Bruce McAvaney. Could I say... Bruce McAvaney's a really decent man. I like him.
Yes.
We take the piss out of him because sometimes, and he admits it, he deserves it. He mightn't even deserve it, but we do it anyhow. And I tell you what, people like Bruce are great people and the world could do with a lot more of them, but we will continue to take the piss out of him and we love him.
Delicious.
A lot of footy news going around during the week. You probably missed it, did you?
No, well, someone told me that Jim had snared the man of the century.
Oh, no.
No. What?
No.
Nathan Buckley's not going to
No,
Kangas?
he's decided to be an assistant coach at Collingwood, Sam.
You could knock me down with plumage. Is that right? I saw this in a gift shop over there and I thought, I'll snare this for Jimmy.
What is it?
Well, look, you haven't got Nathan.
No, he decided that he didn't want to...
The news doesn't travel too quickly over the other side of the continent. And I bought this. I saw it in a little gift shop there, and I thought, you'll be chuffed by this. Well,
What do I know? What do I know? What's about that?
It's that silly thing now that you told me that he didn't get it. Look at that. You look the same. Give me a look. You look the same.
Oh, yeah.
Get us a close-up. Get a close-up. Look at that.
Foss, we don't find this funny, all right?
Mate, I'm sorry. You missed him.
No, he missed out.
No,
He's
we did.
not the coach of the
Well,
Kangas.
you can ask Ed all about it when you get him out of here, Sam.
Hard lines, Jim. I'm sorry. Who is the coach?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, mate. Why don't you make that the coach?
Well, we do know it's Darren Crocker who's doing a great job. Now, we have a very, very nice panel, ladies and gentlemen, and I alluded to this off the top. We have a man kicking us off tonight who is in blistering form. Coming off 8 goals against the Roos on the weekend, the superstar premiership player from Brisbane. Make him welcome, Jonathan Brown. Respected players, great soul. And all the way from Geelong, the mayor of that fine town, Billy Brownless.
Samuel! Beautiful.
Welcome, boys. Great to have you, Brownie. Great to have you down here. We love it when you get down here. And your boys, the Brisbane Lions under Michael Voss, are going magnificently.
We are, yeah. We're 11-6 and playing for a top 4 spot Saturday night against the Pies, mate. So all the boys are pretty excited.
How would you go, Brownie, if someone came up with the idea of North Melbourne just playing Brisbane every week? Would you be comfortable with that?
Oh, yeah, I would have been happy after last week's efforts.
I think he averages something like 8.5 goals a game for the last 10 against us. Yeah, what is it, just a personal thing?
We're just trying to reschedule a game later on in the year. Trying to hopefully get us into the top 4. But, yeah, we had a good win last week.
Now, mate, we want to talk about Carmichael Hunt.
Yeah, and Bill, you're not allowed to say that name tonight.
Why? Carmichael Hunt.
A massive story, this one, and we'll talk to Hutchie, who got some news on how the story broke a little bit later on as well. But I'm not sure we quite appreciate it here down in Victoria just how big a story it is, because you guys, you get a little bit of press up there, but I would imagine this has dominated the newspapers, the television, the radio, front and back pages, the Courier Mail. It's a massive shock, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the 4th time AFL's been on the front page since I've been in Brisbane. 3 of them were for premierships, and that was the 4th
Really?
one. And that's it. That's true, actually. And it's a massive story. I suppose he's the equivalent of Buddy Franklin up in Brisbane. So he's a big name. All the kids love him. He's done everything in the game. He's played in Tests, played for Australia, played State of Origin, played in premierships, all at the age of 22. So it's a massive story, unheard of before. I think he's obviously the first time to do it.
What is AFL, appealing to him? Like this, is he big? Is he strong? Does he jump? What's the attraction with him?
Look, the first connection is he goes out with Scott Harding's sister. Scott Harding plays for us at the Lions. And he has played a few games so she might be out there teaching him to kick. But no, he's played a bit of footy at school. He's obviously played league first, but he was identified as a potential AFL recruit when he was coming through the school system by AFL Queensland, especially Mark Browning, who's a development officer up there, who's always looking for the best athletes. And he's obviously very quick. He's a great tackler, very well built. Probably would have to lean down a little bit to play our game, but seems very well suited to it. Now, the kicking and the handball and skills, I think he'd pick them up all right, because the Irishman seemed to pick that up. It's going to be how he goes with the awareness of all the bodies being around him, not just in front of him. So maybe they might line him up as a defender first, but it's a big thing, and I think it's money well spent by the AFL, because it's a marketing coup. Every rugby league kid, junior, would be starting to think, geez, maybe I should go and play AFL. They'd be asking their dad, why is he doing it?
And if you thought Scott Clayton was just a figurehead up there at the potential Gold Coast, whatever they're going to be called, it was orchestrated by him. 5 months he's been working on it, and he's paid for himself 18 times over there's about 8 birds the AFL have killed with 1 stone.
Yeah,
it's a
unbelievable marketing coup.
Who would you liken him to? Brownie, that's running around in the AFL now, size-wise.
How about yourself?
No.
He's a bit shorter, isn't he?
Not as quick as me. No, he'd have the explosiveness of a Chris Judd. Obviously, he wouldn't have the talent, but he'd have the explosiveness and the power. But he's about 180 centimetres and 92, 93 kilos. So he's a Michael Voss build, really. And if he's half as good as Voss, it'll be a revelation.
Sully, as we move on to you, we had some vision on the weekend in the commentary box of your dressing rooms, and I've never seen a more devastated group of players. Tell us about not a 1-point loss, but perhaps a season-ending loss.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say season-ending, but I've never been involved in a game like that. I think we're up by 28 points at one stage in the last quarter, and for one reason or another, we sort of stopped playing, and they got over the top of us. And
yes, they did, Brad. Yeah.
Well,
and Jimmy just snuck that one through late.
You're extraordinarily unlucky, and good on Geelong. I thought they might get beaten, but extraordinary. But it is potentially, you don't play it light, a season-ending loss, because you can't lose another game. Brad, did you consider that?
I don't know if we can't lose another game and not scraping it all. We play Essendon in the last round, Richmond, Adelaide, St Kilda, and then Port Adelaide this week. So, yeah, we don't really want to drop too many more.
You couldn't drop any more.
You've done the maths?
Pardon?
You've done the maths?
The math.
Maths, Bill. It's plural.
Ian Robson, your CEO, has been there for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Very good CEO, and he's just left the club all of a sudden and gone to the arch enemy Essendon. That is a big kick in the guts for Hawthorn.
Yeah, it is. He's been, the last 5 years he's been with us, and administration-wise, he's led the club as well as anybody possibly could have. So, you know, quite a shock. We certainly didn't see it coming at all. So, you know, all the best to him going forward, I guess.
Yes, very nice and diplomatically put. What was the reaction when we know the reaction, so don't tell lies to us, Bradley. But he spoke to the players, we believe, not long after you won the premiership, and the message was all about trying to keep the group together and the fact that, you know, market value goes up, but you all might have to take a bit less to stay together. Does that ring a bit hollow now?
There's certainly speculation as to why he left. He's a smart man. He's certainly got his motives. So if that's one of them, so be it. But, you know, record shows that his employment over the last few years, he's only been at a single place for 4 to 5 years. And whether he thought his time was up at Hawthorn was try something else, who knows?
How did Al Clarkson take the news?
What was the reaction there?
I don't think he was rapt.
No?
Yeah, he's been terrific for us. He's really taken us from a level and we've grown, you know, 50,000 members. So, yeah, nobody's too pleased to lose him.
Well, we got some exclusive pictures here. Some vision of the footy show was there, Sam, when Ian Robson broke the news to Alistair Clarkson here. Have a look at this.
Fair that was far off the mark either, Bill.
I know. Well, fair to say that Carmichael Hunt's name was also mentioned during the exchange. Now, tell us about this. Also, what is this all about, Sexy Legs? This is in the Herald Sun. Congratulations. Now, that would have cost a fair packet, and that is all about you, Sexy Legs.
That absolutely not. Ruffy was claiming that.
No.
Up and say it was from a lovely girl in Leongatha.
Leongatha?
Put that in for him.
But it's all about you.
That'd be an option. Lovely girl in Leongatha.
No, not at all.
No, it wouldn't be.
No, there's beautiful people in Leongatha. But it is about you because it speaks about the Box Hill Hawks back in 2004.
He played a couple of games, Ruffy. He was down there for a little bit. He didn't play too many, though.
And it says, and I thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey.
Oh.
What do you reckon that means, Brown Dog?
Imagination, Bill. Is it 9:30? It's after 9:30.
I reckon if you've written that and you want to get in touch with Brad, give us a ring here at Channel 9 right now and we'll see if we can sort something out. You're sitting at home and watching, but we're going to move on, Bradley. You just sit tight. Before we get to the first game, we're going to have a look at North and Carlton. We just want to pay tribute to Adam Simpson. Jim, your former captain, who announced early this week that this Friday night's game against Carlton will be his last. Wonderful player. I think it'll be game number 306, which means he'll draw level with Wayne Schimmelbusch, about 5 behind Glenn Archer, 2-time premiership player. So on behalf of everyone at the Footy Show, Simo, congratulations and well done.
We normally, Gary, would roll out a beautiful highlights package, but he only had his 304 games ago. So, sorry, Simo, you're missing out. Now, this next game is the big one. Friday night football, North Melbourne. The Kangaroos have not won a game for 2 months, which is nowhere near good enough. Good news is they've won their last 6 home and away games against the Blues. Grimer and Pratt make their way back in. Ben Ross and David Hale have been omitted as we swing over to the Blues. Kicked just 4 goals last week, 1 in each quarter, of course, going down to the Pies by 54 points in the process. Big Fev enjoys playing against the Roos, kicked 16 in his last 3 matches. Have a listen to these changes, Bill.
How many?
Armfield, Jamison, O'Halpin, Robinson, Stevens and Walker all return. Johnson's out with a hamstring. Bentley, Fisher, Grigg, Hartlett and Yarran have been omitted, William.
Yes, well, Friday night footy, North Melbourne started that 15 years ago.
And need to perform well on it tomorrow
on the
night.
Big stage and haven't been good all year. You'd think Carlton might fire up, but they were terrible last week. Their skills were terrible. Great to see Nick Stevens back and also Andrew Walker. So I think Carlton might just win, but well done, Adam Simpson. He is a great one.
Sully?
North Melbourne, I think. Carlton will throw everything at them, but hopefully this shin bonus spirit will get them over the line for
Shut up, Bill. That's very nicely said from you, Bradley. Browning.
Yeah, obviously we played against North last week. They struggled. David Hale has admitted they're only tall forward, so they'll be very small forward line. How are they going to kick the goals Jimmy. That'll be interesting. Carlton's guys other than Chris Judd around the midfield need to make sure they lift even when Juddy's not getting a kick. But they've got Fev down there, and I think that'll be the difference.
What about you, Samuel?
I'm not a fig plucker, I'm a fig plucker's son, but I'll pluck figs till the fig plucker comes. I'll handle the linguistics to do with Carmichael Hunt.
Thank you.
I can handle the word, and I didn't make a mistake there, I don't think. I incidentally travelled to Perth. I was in 1J and got bumped back to 2D because who was on the plane? Ken and Margaret. They were flying over there. Over there for a conference, I think, from Qantas they are.
This is Ken who runs Qantas.
Yeah, and they'll be playing it. He's handed the stadium over to Etihad just for this Friday.
They've paid $5 million for the rights to name the stadium Etihad.
Yeah, well, anyhow. Jim, I honestly think that Carlton is struggling. And I think the Kangaroos will lift for that boy, Simpson.
Yes.
I know it's an emotive thing to say that, and it really means nout. But I'm not confident about Carlton at the minute.
Very nicely done. All right. Well done, Sammy. Now, Gary mentioned off the top that Shane Crawford is going to attempt to win his fourth, I think it is, world record. He is out there in the car park. So is our main man, Gary Lyon. Gary, come in, please.
Yes, Jim, we are. I'm here with Shane Crawford and Adrian Mott, who's the 2006 store gift winner, if you don't mind. Now, we'll get to Adrian in a minute. Shane, it's a 100-metre race. Why are you dressed as a jockey?
It's because we are going to race down the track. We are going to be a horse. We're running as a pantomime horse. Two of us inside of a horse. And we are going to go as fast as we can. We tried to get Matt Shervington, but he's hung on the horse and didn't want to come today. But we are very, very confident, Gary.
All right, now let me just...
That's why I'm dressed as a jockey.
I'll just interpret that, Jim. Adrian and Shane...
This feels good.
are going to be dressed as a horse.
Yes.
And are going to try and run 100 metres. The world record stands at 13.5 seconds.
13.51.
Adrian, are you the front or the back of the horse?
On the front, Crawford's very quick to shotgun the ready position, so if he follows me...
No.
If he follows me, I think we should be right, but you might get distracted by something behind me.
So 13.5 seconds is very quick, James.
Well, Gary, that is extraordinarily quick. Why are you dressed the way you are?
Because someone's got to run the 100 now, just to give you an idea of how fast you can go. And it was out of me, you and Sam. We know that Sam would make it have a heart attack. We thought you'd get 22 yards up, Jim, and come back again.
Oh, I see the old cricket analogy.
So
now,
I'm going to run it now. I don't know whether you can see up here. This is 100. Wait on, Shane. 100 metres. I've got to beat 13.5 seconds.
all right,
so.
now you were the Kyabram flyer, as we understand. So,
I'm in my suit still. So
Gary, I've got the what is this? The iPhone. Which button do I hit?
Crazy John.
the clock. You
Clock. All right, clock. This is courtesy of Crazy John's, although it's the last model Crazy. So if you want to upgrade, Gary, I reckon.
Shane. No,
right.
I've got it. Go.
Gratuitous enough. All right, Gary. Ready, set, go. Oh. Look at him. Look at him go.
Jim.
Do I hit stop now?
Jim, I'm not joking either.
Yes.
That's not a joke. I just done that. Jesus. I'm sorry about that.
What have I done?
I have done my hammy, so...
Gary,
I told him not to do that.
Gary, we've got a replay of you actually pulling your hammy, so let's have a look at that.
Where?
Oh, here it is. Oh, no. He's pulled up sore, Wilbur.
Quick.
No, I know you think that was set up in a joke, but I've done my hammy, Jim.
All right. Well, I can reveal, Gary, that I think we can get a... Footy show can reveal. If we can get a tight shot of that, that's your time.
What was it?
13 flat.
Oh, I had it covered then.
So you beat the time by 0.6 of a second. Oh, very nicely done, Gareth.
I'm in a bit of trouble.
All right, when are we doing this world record? How far away are we?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
All right.
So let's get this straight, Jim. Adrian's going to be the head of the horse and Shane's just going to be himself, is he? Is that what's happening?
That's exactly what's happening.
Right.
All right, we're going to take a break on the Footy Show, our first break of the night. Sam's mailbags to come, and of course he goes one-on-one with Eddie Maguire. Thanks to Carlton Natural Blonde and Crazy Johns, of course, and if you just joined us, or if you just want to have another look at it, our version of Matt Shervington, only slightly built differently, Gary Lyon, is back at... What happened, Gary?
Oh, dear, dear.
Do you want to have a look at it?
Yeah, please.
All right, let's replay the 100-metre sprint from our main man, the Kyabram Flyer. What was happening here?
I was going that quick, Jim.
What happens here?
Well, there's a little rise there. It went...
What does it feel like?
Gary?
That's not... Well,
We nearly had to call for the stretcher, Gary.
Have you seriously done it?
Well, I can't sit forward, Jim, at the moment. So if I sit forward, I get into a lot of pain. So I'm just going to have to...
Just a little twig,
No,
or have you...
I've popped it.
The whole thing?
Yeah. Have you done one, Brownie?
I have done one. Yeah, not the best feeling.
No, it's not good.
Got a bit of celery crunching.
Yes.
Thanks.
Sorry, Germany, Gary.
You did too, I remember that. You're 60.
You could do the show on the stretcher.
Push on, I'll just do it from back here.
Well, we are going to just assess you for the rest of the night, Gareth, because you're looking a bit dusty. Now, time on the show, ladies and gentlemen, one of our favourite segments, Sam's Mailbag.
Now, this is from Troy of Meadow Springs, which I believe... I was down near Meadow Springs. I think that's a golf course,
Golf course,
yeah. That's
Mandurah.
near Mandurah.
Yep.
And the other place I was down there, not Ravenswood, I can't think. It was very nice down there, incidentally. Dear Sam, I think I have found a lookalike for that man you had to give money to on Street Talk last week. Now, this is the man Troy is talking about.
Sir, that is just as good as crack as anyone's head. Here you are.
Thank you, Smile, smile.
Now, Troy believes he looks a lot like this man. Who, and that's David Koch.
No, Kosh.
David Koch.
Yeah, Kosh.
Who's David Koch?
Kosh.
David Koch?
David Koch.
From Seven?
Seven.
Oh, gee, sorry about that. This is a CH, like, as in, it's Kosh.
Kosh.
Why is it called chemist?
Oh, no.
That's as in chocolate, is it?
Yes.
Well, anyhow, David Koch. Well, it looks a bit like David Koch.
It does.
It's like
Maybe the other
phonetic,
man's
Sam.
called Koch. What?
Like phonetic. How do you reckon phonetic can be spelt?
Oh, P-H. No, F.
You'd think F, wouldn't you?
Oh, well, Bill, we did that last week. Were you here last week?
No, I wasn't.
You
Yes, I
large,
was.
overweight man, shut up. We had a lot of letters about me getting into the porkers last week. Could we have thin, good-looking people on television doing something constructive instead of cooking and dancing and buggerising around? Why do we want to watch freaks? Come on. Just watch some decent...
Push on.
Thin models. Why can't we have thin models modelling clothes? Why have they got to be buxom people who look shit out?
That is one angry fossil.
Trish of Glen Iris. I thought I'd never be able to say this, but I learnt something from your show last week. Oh, Trish, please. I learnt what a hand shandy was from the lady on Street Talk. Thanks for the English lesson.
Yep.
Well, I didn't really know what one is. Trish didn't know what a hand shandy was. Does anyone know what a hand shandy? We've actually, over the years, Gary, we've learned a lot of words, and we've started. This is going to be a new segment, and if it goes no good, this will be the last time it's on. This what? A hand shandy. Do you know what a hand shandy is, Bradley, my boy?
Thanks, Samuel. No, I don't.
No one does.
A beer and a lemonade.
That's it.
He might have got one from that chick who wrote the letter to the paper. Sammy.
Wasn't a chick.
Was it a chick?
What chick?
Oh, it was bloke. It might have been a bloke.
Yeah, young Chris.
What do you got in your hands there, Foss?
I wonder. Oh, sorry. This is the Street Talk Dictionary, which we're going to compile, and we're going to start words we learn on Street Talk. Right. And we're going to look at the letter G. So here's the letter G today. Yep. The first word is, this is what we've learned, this is what people say to us on Street Talk. The first word is goonbag. Let's have a look at what that means.
Drinking all day.
What is that?
Goonbag.
A goonbag is a bladder full of piss, Gary. It's just one of those...
out of a cask.
Flagon.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Goony Google. Now, the next one is... the next one is gooch. This is what's the most unusual body piercing part you've had to actually attend to, sir?
A gooch.
What's it?
A gooch in between the nutsack and your butthole.
I've not met a lot of people that have had a gooch, but I'll take that chap's word for it. A gooch is between the...
Yes,
thank you. And the next word in the dictionary is... this is what we've learned on Street Talk, Gary. Generation, G for generation. Generation F, because he said this.
Yeah, what more words did you learn?
Oh, I can't say him.
Go on, tell them we'll bleep them out. We'll go beep, go on. Give us your best one.
Yep. That's Generation F. F for...
Yep.
Now, we've got thousands of them, and this is going to be the Street Talk
Bestseller.
What?
Bestseller.
It'll be a bestseller, and that's what that'll be. Do you think the segment will go on next week, Brownie? Just... What do you mean, no?
TC will sack it.
Shit. I've gone to a lot of trouble to do. Now, have a listen to this. Now, this is... I know we say this every week. You think we make these up. Here's the letter here. I mean, if you think I've made that up, that's the letter. I know it's hard to read. Yeah, that's the letter, but I'm not going to read it out, but this is part of it. Dear Sir Scott of Colac, 9 or 10 years ago, the Sunday sports program said the new skills were introduced into Australian rules. Well, that was because of me. The banana kick never existed until I introduced it into the competition. Without my banana skills, football would be unequipped, incomplete and not at its peak. Now, this man reckons he introduced and invented the banana kick. And we think we've found him on the internet. I think we have. He thinks... He goes on to say the banana kick is being used in football in an illegal manner. He believes a lot of people that use the banana kick owe him royalties, if you like, because this is true. This man has written this letter in, and he says, the list includes Brown of Brisbane in this letter and Sewell of Hawthorn. Now, you think we've made this up. These people happen to be in here today. They're not in here because of the letter, but he says Sewell of Hawthorn and Brown of Brisbane have been plagiarising his idea.
I don't reckon I've ever kicked a banana kick in a game, Sam, so I don't know where he's getting that from.
Well, he writes it in there.
So what's he want?
I should be paid for my banana skills. If you put new skills into a sport to upper its peak, wouldn't you expect to be paid? How would you feel? I know how it makes me feel. Where is the elite football world's conscience? How do you feel about Nick and silly Scott's idea?
Well, no, I haven't kicked one. Sul, have you kicked any bananas?
If I did, I certainly didn't mean it.
Well, if anyone feels obliged or feels a little bit guilty about pinching Scott's banana kick idea, send it to that place there, and it's just staggering. Isn't it?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I bet when he gets in a cab, the driver leaves the vacant sign on. You reckon he could do that? Right. And now, hang on. Now I've got another one here.
Oh, I like this. Is a good one.
Well, all right. Where is it? Where is it?
Oh.
What is it?
It's a lookalike.
Yeah. Item number 4.
Yeah. East Warrnambool Football Club have sent in tonight's video memo. It's one of their players nicknamed Bones. They believe he looks a little bit like someone on the panel who's just on his hamstring. And Gary, well, did we see?
Not yet.
Why haven't we seen it?
No, that was Gary, or it looks very much like.
Okay.
You need to throw to it, Fossman.
Okay, I'm throwing to it. Sorry about that. And Bones is in. Bones is in the audience. Come up, Bones. Come here. Come here. Come here, Bones. Come and sit next to the other timer. Don't move, he's done his heavy. Now look, have a look, get a close up of these two.
A nice little bit of ink work there too.
Now, Bonesy, do you want to take over? He's done a hammy.
She's right, mate.
No, you're speaking like him too. What, can we get Bones?
He's a Warrnambool.
I used to play against East Warrnambool back in the juniors. They're a pack of dirty bastards.
What were you going to say next? Let Bones do it.
Bonesy, I want you to throw to Sam's mailbag and then read the address off. Can you read?
So that was Sam's... You can't read. What is wrong?
Of course he can. Now, if you want to be involved in Sam's mailbag, all you got to do is this.
Bones.
Go, Bones.
P.O. Box.
Send it to us.
Sam's mailbox. P.O. Box. What?
The boys are literate.
Keep going. P.O. Box.
P.O. Box 800 Richmond, Victoria 3121.
Oh, well done, Bonesy.
That'll do.
Sam's up mailbag at 9.com.
Bones, little did we know that you're a numbskull. What is letters or figures stump you?
Oh, Sammy's nervous. He hasn't been on telly before.
How hard would it be to say 3-1-2?
Sit down, Bones. Bones, going to take us. Stay here. Take us through the next game, Bones. It's Geelong taking on Adelaide at Skilled Stadium on Saturday. There's the Cats now. This is the Geelong side, second on the ladder, Bones. They beat Hawthorn by a point last Saturday after coming from 28 points behind. Scarlett and Taylor are out. In come Steve Johnson and Tom Harley. Joel Selwood, a career-high 42 possessions last week. A magnificent game. They take on the Adelaide Crows. No support. Fifth on the ladder, 11 wins, 6 losses. Beat Port Adelaide by 70 points. Fifth time the last 6 matches. Adelaide have kept their opponents to 35 or less inside 50s. And one change, Brodie Martin out with a knee. He's a good young kid. He's having a reconstruction, which is bad luck. Tyson Edwards comes back into the side. We're going to go round. Because we've got to get off at 11. Who's going to win, Bill?
The Cats at home, you'd think would win that. A great win last week. That's the best I've ever heard them sing the song. They were up and about since 2007 Grand Final. Congratulations to Darren Milburn, 250 games, and Jimmy Bartell plays 150.
Yeah, definitely Geelong after witnessing it firsthand, but I like Adelaide. That'd be a bit closer than last time, I think.
Brownie?
I think it'll be a very close game. Geelong just, but they're going to have real problems containing Adelaide's forward line, especially Kurt Tippett and Brett Burton, who's bounced back to form after a knee recap.
Sam?
Oh, I think they're playing pretty well. The Adelaide Crows are flying, but I think Geelong are better.
Bones, what about you, mate?
I'll go Geelong.
You're going to go for Geelong? Who do you follow in the footy?
Bombers.
Now, why do you get called Bones? Obvious reason?
Used to be a skinny fella.
Oh, I see.
Not anymore.
Looks like Josh.
Oh, shut up.
You got Gary's rapier wit.
Bones is going for Geelong. I'm going for Geelong. Bones, you can sit down. Billy, you take us through the next game, please.
Good on you, Bones. Thank you very much. Next game is the Western Bulldogs taking on Fremantle. The Western Bulldogs are third, 11 wins, 6 losses. They lost to St Kilda by 45 points last week. They've made 3 changes. In comes Everett, Gilby's back, and Stack. Out goes Scotty Welsh. He'd have a sore bum, I reckon, from Rocket kicking it, being the 19th man last week. And Sean Higgins and Robert Murphy, they are big outs here for the Western Bulldogs. They take on Fremantle, who beat West Coast Eagles last week by 5 points. They've only had 4 wins for the year. Matthew Pavlich, good to see him back in town. 3 changes again. Desi Hedlund comes in. Chris May, not sure where Chris Mayne's been. Good to see him back. And Michael Walder's back. Out goes Peake. Timmy Ruffles. Now, that is a sad story. He kicked a beautiful goal last week and he's done his knee. And also, Zach Clark is out. I think the Doggies will win this one. They've got to get back on the winner's track, Sully.
Yeah, absolutely. The Western Bulldogs run all over top of them. And Brad Johnson, 342nd match, club record, I think. So, great work.
I think Freo, Western Bulldogs will be too good for them, and Freo lose their 8th on the trot at Etihad Stadium.
Yeah. I saw Freo play last.
Samuel, I just had a message that Eddie's waiting for you, and he said, hurry up.
Right, I'm no tip then, I couldn't get it out.
I am tipping the Western Bulldogs, certainly, and Eddie Maguire coming up after this break with Sam Newman, 1-on-1. But as we go to the break, Sully mentioned Brad Johnson. Talk about all-time greats. This bloke fits the category very comfortably. I think David Smorgan, the president, said the greatest Bulldog of all time. You may not agree with that, but he'd be in the best 2 or 3, that's for sure. He plays game number 342, and from all of us here, Jono, well done and good luck on the weekend.
Season. Book it in now.
Johnson's dangerous from here. Oh, what a goal, Brad Johnson! Oh, that's a match winner by the skipper. Johnson, the goal again.
When you get your first game, it's a real buzz, and you get out there and you want to be part of that every week. You try and forge your career for yourself on the back of that. So you never dream, not in your wildest dreams, you think you get this far. I've been lucky enough to get through most seasons, play most games, and that's how the numbers tick up.
Johnson for the third Unbelievable!
It's extra good to hear I might get to 400 games. That means 3 or 4 more years left in the game.
That's 4 bounces, runs to 45. Brad Johnson sets up for home. Kicks up
Thanks to Carlton Natural Blonde and Crazy John. It's been the big story of the football year. It's been going on all year. The coaching merry-go-round, just who was going to go where, and the man pivotal to it all.
You got Bones. Where's Bones?
Just on some pain. It's on some painkillers, Foss. It was Nathan Buckley, and heavily courted, of course, by the North Melbourne Footy Club. A lot of people in the football world said he couldn't end up at the Collingwood Footy Club, but this man, Eddie Maguire, has been able to pull it off. Mick Malthouse and Nathan Buckley signing for 5 years, if you don't mind. He's no stranger to this studio. Please welcome Eddie Maguire.
It's getting a bit cold at night for the old boy. No, what this is, Sam, if you'd like to sit down, we'll get on with this.
Thanks very much. Yeah. Feels like he never left.
No, look, this is a blatant plug because Jason donating 150 dinners per week for the next 3 months during winter for the homeless. And this week...
Collingwood supporters.
Exactly. And this week at the MCG, when we take on Brownie's Mob, it's going to be a great game. We're expecting a big crowd. We're inviting all people to bring a blanket to the football, or as many as you like, and all the blankets will be donated to the homeless people. And if you stick your head out the window tonight, you'll see how tough it is for those people who are living rough at the moment, Sam. Yeah. So we'd like to do that, and we'll be collecting through Kmart stores as well. But bring it to the MCG. Thanks to Jason, 150 per week for the next 3 months. There you go.
Well,
keep you nice and warm.
Thanks very much for coming in, Eddie. Yeah. Back to you, Gary.
Now, Ed, look, I got the mandatory. Could I just offer my allegiances for a start? I rang Ed and said I thought it was a fantastic thing he did. And happy to say that, and just a nice, smooth transition. That's the way it should be done. But, of course, since then, the naysayers have sprung to the fore, as they always do with all these things. So, Ed, if you don't mind, we'll take the position of the naysayers and we'll go from there. But I thought it was a fantastic thing. I just want to say that for a start.
Thank you.
Mick Malthouse, obviously, I presume, came to you and said that he doesn't want to coach any longer than 2 years.
No, what happened is at the start of the year we said we'd let the year get on. We knew that Michael Malthouse's contract was going through to the end of this year and we just wanted to see how things would develop. I spoke to Mick earlier in the year and I told him categorically that he had my full support and we just wanted to see...
For 2 years?
No, at this stage for no particular length of time. In the last probably 4 weeks, we decided to sit down and talk. There were some mitigating circumstances. Peter Sidwell, who acts for Michael Malthouse as a friend and confidant, was overseas, so we had to wait for a few things to come into alignment. And we sat down and decided to look at a bigger picture. We're also conducting a major review of all aspects of our football club at the moment because we are heading into uncharted water with these 2 new teams. As late as yesterday, we've just seen how different life is going to be in football with Carmichael Hunt coming into the game. So we sat down, we spoke to Mick about what he wanted to do. He did come to us and say, I would like to coach for the next 2 years. We believe there's a 3-year window, which we've declared publicly, where we want to have a real assault at winning a premiership. So he came and asked for 2 years.
So he doesn't want to coach after 2 years?
No, well, 2 years was a long enough scenario, he believed.
No, that's right. So...
And then we sat down and I put a counter offer to him that we'd do 2 years and extend that for a further 3 years in a director of coaching position because I think that is something that he would be fantastic at. It's something we've spoken about over a number of years about when a transition should happen. And, of course, since the start of the year, Nathan Buckley declared his interest in becoming a coach. And when was it? About 2.5 weeks ago, we sat down with Nathan Buckley and offered him the position of being coach in 2012. He said yes, with the proviso that he'd had the full blessing of Michael Malthouse, in fact, his imprimatur. Right. And from that moment on, we were able to get everybody together and the deal was done. So, in short, Ed, you said, Mick Malthouse said, I only want to do it for 2 years. You didn't tell him 2 years and then we're going to swing Nathan in. Mick said it. No, 2 years was the length of contract that Mick wanted to have. And then we were able to think a little bit laterally and look at what happened. Look, the key thing for the Collingwood Football Club was that we have a very solid situation for the next 5 years. We think it's going to be turbulent times in the AFL. We think it's going to be turbulent at Collingwood. No, for me personally, I wanted to make sure that Mick Malthouse got what he deserved, and that is the opportunity to finish his coaching career at full pelt, not limped to the line, and also to be given the vote of integrity that he deserves, and that is to be part of our football club, but as an absolute contributor. At the same time, we've got a man coming who will get to 40 years in football. He'll be the second longest serving coach in the history of the game behind Jock McHale. And at the same time, we've got the opportunity to get what we believe is the next best candidate coming in. We think it is a pretty good transitional opportunity and one that was embraced and only could happen because of the self-sacrifice of Michael Malthouse and also Nathan Buckley, who had the opportunity to coach senior football, but decided, because of his love for Collingwood, to be an assistant coach for 2 years to support Mick Malthouse, and Mick Malthouse gave him the guarantee that he would do everything in his power to make Nathan Buckley the most accomplished first-year coach in the history of the game.
Now, Ed, I've got... very good. I've got 10 or a dozen questions, Ed.
I'll keep it quiet.
They cannot stand answers that long, although they're very good answers, and I know they're very good answers. This is predicated on the fact, this whole deal, that Nathan Buckley will be successful. What happens if he's a dud?
These are the risks in life.
So, to not take a risk is to take the biggest risk. I'll finish that for you.
Yes.
So, if Nathan Buckley turned out to be a dud, is Mick Malthouse waiting in the wings to swing back into action?
No, I wouldn't think that was the case.
Well, what would you think is the case?
Well, the case is as it is, that Mick is, without question, the senior coach of the Collingwood Football Club for the next 2 years, and for the following 3 years, Nathan Buckley will be the coach of the Collingwood Football Club.
So if you or Mick decided that 2 years is enough at Collingwood, and after a year he got itchy feet, would you release him to let him coach somewhere else?
At the moment, Mick Malthouse has agreed to sign a 5-year contract to be a servant of the Collingwood Football Club.
So you would
That's all we're
expect him
worried
to
about.
honour that contract?
Well, we have a contract. As is the case with all these contracts, people enter into them in the right spirit, and with a man of Mick Malthouse's integrity, I have no doubt that that's what his intentions are.
I'm not one of them. This is what the naysayers think, Ed. I think it was a great decision. You obviously don't think Nathan Buckley's ready to coach yet.
No, I think a perfect scenario for us would have been, is what we've got, that we have Mick Malthouse at the height of his powers,
Yes.
going through to the finishing line and dedicating himself to get what we desperately want at Collingwood as a premiership for the next 2 years. At the same time, I have a bloke who 2 clubs have believed has got the credentials to coach tomorrow, but now he can actually go through the best finishing school before taking on the position. It's a matter of just putting extra horsepower into an area that we believe is going to be pivotal in the next couple of years in football.
So 2 months ago, Nathan Buckley said he'd gleaned everything he thought he could from Mick Malthouse.
And then he started coaching, and he realised...
2 weeks ago, Ed, I'll just finish the question. Yet 2 weeks ago he said he didn't think he could learn anything more from him. So there's just a huge contradiction in terms there. Why didn't you let him go to another club so he could bring the intellectual property back from another club, get their ideas rather than... He's played under Mick, he's now going to be the assistant coach. Why didn't you let him go somewhere else and bring some ideas from other clubs back?
Your questions are getting longer than my answers.
I was just trying to get me money's worth.
No, the situation was that Mick and Nathan hadn't spoken 2 weeks ago. And when we put to Nathan and Michael, Malthouse put to him what we could do together, he believed that that was the best situation. Look, it boils down to this. He wanted to coach Collingwood.
Nathan Buckley?
Yeah.
You wanted him to coach?
I wanted the best available coach, and I think I've got it.
You're not blinded by love, are you, Ed?
No. Look, my love for Mick Malthouse is just as strong. Mick is fantastic, and we can never forget what Mick Malthouse has done for the Collingwood Football Club.
Would it have broken your heart if Nathan had gone elsewhere?
No, not necessarily, because the next 2 years are very important. The fact that we've got the next 5 under control is very satisfying.
The old triumvirate. So let me get that word. Yeah. Triumvirate of Nathan Buckley as captain, Mick Malthouse as coach and Eddie Maguire as president have not been successful.
Not ultimately successful.
Have not been successful, Ed.
Well, on which measurement?
Well, you know what the ultimate success is.
Exactly, a premiership.
Thank you, Ed.
Yep.
Why will it be different this time round?
Well, we hope that this is the case.
Do you know if it's not? And next year, you are the longest-serving president, and Mick Malthouse will be the longest-serving coach together who have never won a premiership.
That's right.
How will that stand with the rank and file?
Well, it's a democracy at Collingwood. It's a very tough competition, as we've seen and as I've said ad nauseum. In the early part of my presidency, there were mitigating circumstances as far as the unequal opportunities in clubs in the AFL, and we're about to go into that again. We've had about 3 years of bliss in the AFL, where the draft has been relatively uncompromised and the salary cap has been relatively uncompromised, and that's been blown to kingdom come, is about to be. So it's a tough thing to win. So we're there to win it. We've made 2 grand finals. We've made a preliminary final. We've played in the finals the last 3 years. We've played in a couple of NAB Cups. We haven't won. So that's why we're doubling our efforts, literally, to make sure that we give ourselves every opportunity, and that's all we can do.
So in the next 2 years, who has more say on list management, draft choices and picks and all that, and trading? Yeah. Who has more say in that? Michael Malthouse, who's coaching for him to be famous for 2 years, or Nathan Buckley, who's looking to the long term, because they're the charges, those draft picks and nominees, that Nathan Buckley's going to have to take over. Yeah, what happens if there's a dispute? Who settles that?
Jeff Walsh does. He's the Director of Football at the Collingwood Football Club. We try to run our club like a successful organisation. It's not one person's domain to walk over these things. Derek Heiner's our Chief of Recruiting, and we have got that in place. We have excellent assistant coaches, and we have a pretty solid football department that we're very proud of, that we can come to the right conclusions on these things. There's always a short-term and a long-term decision to be made. As I said, who knows when drafting comes in the next few years? People aren't going to get a draft pick for the first couple of rounds. They're all going to go to the Gold Coast, and when Western Sydney comes in, we'll probably get, if we have first pick, we'll probably be picked 300.
What would happen?
It's going to be something like that. So there's going to be a lot of different things. We're going to see things like we saw yesterday, where Carmichael Hunt becomes a big pick. And you want to make sure you get that one right when you say it.
But we've been practising all day.
That's the thing. This is where football is going, Sam. It's a brave new world.
What happens if Mick Malthouse wins the premiership this year? What happens if he wins 2 flags and goes out as the premiership coach? I mean, how could you possibly say that it would be a good move and in the interest of Collingwood to wind his tenure of office up? How could you possibly say that?
Well, what a way to go out as a two-time premiership coach. Let's hope he wins 3. But no, it won't be, because we believe, and Mick Malthouse signed the contract, we believe that this is the best thing for the Collingwood Football Club. I think that's quite interesting that we talk about in football players sacrificing, playing for the team. Yet when we talk about coaches, it's all about allegedly whose fingerprints are going to be on the cup on the dais. I can tell you that Mick Malthouse has dedicated his next 5 years and sacrificed his position, if you like, for the good of the Collingwood Football Club. Nathan Buckley has sacrificed being a senior coach for the next 2 years for the good of the Collingwood Football Club.
But if he's
Collingwood supporters should be absolutely delighted that these 2 men are there for Collingwood. Everyone gets recompensed very well at Collingwood.
Yes.
It's a great place to work. But people have dedicated and put themselves, and I think that this is indicative of the 40 years of Michael Malthouse's contribution to football.
So the lads, Scott, Carousella, Hudson, Neil, Brown, the assistant coaches, they've overnight become redundant because they're going nowhere.
No, they're not. Not at all.
Well, they're not aspiring to be a senior coach, not at Collingwood.
They weren't with Mick Malthouse there either. They're there and they're hired and they are wonderful professionals. And each one of those men have been fantastic Collingwood people and are to this very day. And they're focused on playing the Brisbane Lions this Saturday night. That's what people get paid for.
How in 2 years do you know Nathan Buckley will be the best man available?
Well, we don't.
Well, isn't that what your job is, to get the best man available?
We believe that he is, and we believe with 2 years
now, you believe
under Mick,
he is, with nothing to back that up, Ed. He's coached nothing.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 years with him, and we think he shows all the attributes.
He said he's learned everything he can under Mick.
He did say that. And
then you told him to reverse that particular opinion because it doesn't read well.
No, it doesn't. And it's not the situation. Hey, look, people say things all the time. Positions move. People's lives change. Mick Malthouse 2 years ago would not have taken this into account. 2 years later, you're 2 years older, life circumstances change. Mick is delighted to have a 2-year contract at the football club. We're rapt that he's taken a 5-year term with us.
Now, I knew you'd tell me up, Ed, but I'm just going to finish on this. These things don't usually happen with such plain sailing. That it is rumoured, you know what they are, rumours, that Gary Pert wanted Nathan Buckley to step in immediately, and he's had a falling out with Mick Malthouse. There's an icy relationship there. I know what you'll say. I don't know why I've asked you the question. Would there be any validity to that at all? Did Gary Pert want Nathan to take over?
There was a lot of speculation in the media over a long period of time.
I'm asking you.
And yet everyone was totally surprised with the outcome when we announced it, which means no one knew, and any reporter who made any claim to know what was happening at Collingwood is not reporting the facts. So no one knew what was going on at Collingwood.
Gary Pert.
Gary Pert is the CEO of the football club.
Mick Malthouse.
I told Gary Pert to go out and look and see to make sure that we're right. To make sure everything was right. We came back. There was one person offered the coaching position at the Collingwood Football Club for the next 2 years, and that was Michael Malthouse.
Yes, I know that. That's not what I asked you. Did Gary Pert
ran it. He's the CEO.
Did he wish for Nathan Buckley to take over immediately? Do you know?
No, because if, as the CEO, he would have had that discussion with me, and at no stage was that ever countenanced by anyone at the Collingwood Football Club.
If all this ends in tears, Ed...
Oh, well, it could end in tears, it could end in premierships. That's the risk in life. If we knew what was happening at the football, we wouldn't go every week, would we? That's the great surprise. That's the great endeavours in life, mate. The uncertainty.
If all this ends in tears, will you be saying, well, the buck stops with me, and will you...
Hey, the last time I was on here, you were firing questions at me, and I have always said, as the president of the Collingwood Football Club, the buck stops with me, whether it's Nathan or Mick. It stops with me. It is a decision made by the board. I'm not a one-man band at the Collingwood Football Club. It was a unanimous board decision. It was embraced by executive, by Jeff Walsh and by Gary Pert, the football department, Mick Malthouse, Nathan Buckley. We're all as one going forward. If we get the success we hope for, no one will be more delighted. If it doesn't work out, well, then at least we'll have died trying.
He's a star, period. That's it. Eddie Maguire.
Thanks, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Collingwood Footy Club and our version of Michael Parkinson, Sam Newman and Ed Maguire. Thank you very much for that.
Good idea, mate. Thanks a lot.
We are going to roll into the Maggies, who take on, of course, Brownies mob. The Maggies have won 5 of their last 6 at the MCG this season. They've also set on the weekend a world record of 73 running bounces against the Blues. Not surprisingly, Collingwood go in unchanged as we swing across to the Brisbane Lions, who gave the Kangas a pretty comprehensive touch-up. Big Brownie bagging a lazy 8 the last time, and this is interesting, Garrett. These two sides met at the G back in 2007. The Lions won by 93 points. If you don't mind, Bradshaw, Hawksley, Rockcliffe and Selwood are ins for Brisbane. Collier, Hanley and Proud are out injured. Tim Notting has been suspended for a week. Now, before we get to you, Jonathan, I want to just be serious for a second, ladies and gentlemen, because a man plays game number 250 this week who is arguably the most decorated footballer ever in the history of the AFL. This man is a 3-time premiership player, a 3-time All-Australian, a 3-time best and fairest player, the 2002 Brownlow medalist, the 2003 Norm Smith medalist, and a former captain of his club. And Simon Black, congratulations on an unbelievable career. Brownie, are you capable of coming down here and rolling the Maggies?
I'll just say, Black, he's an even better bloke as well. So, yeah, we're very confident. Big stage for us, the MCG. We don't often get to play here. And big crowd against the Pies. We're fighting for fourth spot, I suppose, with the Pies. And very confident. We have got a young side. We'll have 6 rookies in the side on the weekend. Just to name a few that have gone well this year. Daniel Rich has been a star. Jack Redden, Sam Sheldon. Kenny's young fella who actually lives with myself and Kyle's. And Tommy Rockcliffe will be in for his first game, a young fella from Benalla. So we're confident. We can't wait for the big occasion on Saturday night, Jimmy.
What do you think, Sully?
Yeah, Collingwood. Sorry, Brownie. Congratulations to Simon Black, first of all. Sensational. Love the way he goes about it. But Collingwood, from I was looking here, Albert Proud out for 2 weeks, I think you said.
Yep.
Enjoy watching him play as well. He's going to be a beauty, I think.
Tough nut.
Wilbur?
The Pies for me, and looking forward to Presti, are you, Brownie?
Yeah, it's always a good battle. I reckon I've played on Presti the most out of any of the defenders in the comp, so we've had some great battles over the last decade.
How's your week been, Jim? You missed out on Nathan, and Adam Simpson comes and he's going to retire on you. Haven't had a great week, have you, mate?
Where are you going, Bill?
Well, there's an article. There's an article here that popped up on the Herald Sun website, and this is by Mike Sheen, actually. He broke the story, Mike Sheen, the #1 journo in the business. Yeah. There it is on the telly now. North Melbourne Chairman James Bradshaw. Now, can we just get this right once and for all? It's Brayshaw. John Brayshaw, it is.
Well
you've had a shocking week, haven't you?
No, I've had a great week, Bill. People with their kids in a trauma ward have had a shocking week. This is footy. It's a man's game, Bill.
But
you win some, you
going to
lose
get
some.
Nathan. You thought you were going to
We had a crack at getting someone who didn't end up coming. That's what we move on, Bill. It's a big man's game.
Oh, you're filthy. You are filthy.
I'm filthy. I tell you what I am is filthy with you because you've got to read your running sheet, Bill. We've got to get through the game first. Samuel, who do you think is going to win between
at this
Collingwood
stage, Mick Malthouse and Nathan Buckley and Scott and Carousella and Hudson and Neild and Brown, all the people running Collingwood, they'll be getting together and they've only got to do one thing, Gaz.
Stop the big fella.
Stop the big brownie. And if they can't do that, they'll do that. They mightn't do that, but they mightn't do that. You're a great man. Not a good-looking man, but a great man. You're a good-looking man. Well,
quickly now.
I reckon Collingwood, but congratulations to them. They're going great.
Yeah, they are. Michael Voss has been a revelation, and Simon Black's a beauty. I agree.
If I had as much work as you, mate, I'd look like a supermodel.
Mate, you'll never look like a supermodel until your ass closes over.
We're going to leave those two to sort it out because time's getting away from us. Shane Crawford's world record attempt is about to happen very shortly, and Craig Hutchison, Royal Footy News, up next.
Nice to have your company on a Thursday night. The Mighty Footy Show, of course, courtesy of Crazy Johns and Carlton Natural Blonde. And It is our great pleasure, as we do every Thursday night, to welcome the Walkley Award-winning news-breaking superstar, Craig Hutchison, to the Footy Show. Hutch,
Hutchie, now before you start, we just should say we do build Hutchie up with very good reason, but he broke this Carmichael Hunt story on the Today Show, but he has known about this story for 3 months, and that is a fact. Is that not, Samuel?
Not sure that's a good thing, Gaz, but...
No, but you did the right thing by not... you would have been putting someone in had you gone with it, so...
I don't like Craig a hell of a lot, I'll be honest. But I'll give him this. He has sat on this for longer than 3 months, 5 months, and he was asked not to mention it by several parties, and he could have broken it and made a hero of himself. And I hate to say this, but he has done the absolute right thing, and he knew about this in February.
I know.
And I know that for a fact.
And that's enough for blowing wind up Hutchie. Anyway,
Let's get on with it
anyway.
Well, interestingly, he trained tonight and his teammates had the sharing out tonight at Brisbane Broncos training. Carmichael Hunt, an unbelievable story, is playing this weekend for the Brisbane Broncos despite shocking the nation. The AFL have tracked that they've had more media mentions in the last 24 hours than virtually any day in the history of the AFL in New South Wales and Queensland. 1,000-odd mentions nationally. And as you said, the Brisbane Broncos with their sharing out tonight. So it has caused absolute furore in New South Wales and Queensland.
That's not his best kick.
Probably got a little bit of work to do on the kicking, but those who did see him kick, including Nathan Buckley, say picked the skills up very well. Tonight, the Footy Show, Sam spoke to Carmichael Hunt, and we started by asking him how tough a decision it had been to switch codes.
Oh, it's been tough, but, you know, I got notified of the offer in February, so I've had some time to sit on it, and, you know, I've made the right decision for myself and my family, and I'm just really looking forward to taking the challenge up.
Has AFL football ever been on your radar?
I never really took too much serious thinking to it. You know, obviously a big fan of the game and follow a good mate of mine, Scotty Harding, who plays for the Brisbane Lions. So I try to catch as many games as I can that he's playing in. So for the offer to come through, I guess from the Gold Coast Football Club, it was a bit, I guess, surreal, and you know, I really thought it wasn't truthful, to be honest, but you know, it was. And here we are today, you know, signed on a dotted line for 2010, 11 and 12.
When they rang originally, what was your reaction?
I thought it was a prank. You know, they rang my manager and he thought it was a prank too. So, you know, it was a bit out of left field, but you know, a follow-up meeting after that with Scotty Clayton and Dave Matthews up in Brisbane, you know, really rammed it home that it was a real deal. And you know, I guess, you know, I let it sit with me. I did a trip to Melbourne. I think it's well documented. That I had a kick-to-kick with Nathan Buckley and Jason McCartney. So, you know, things developed from there on. And I guess, you know, over the last week and a half, I finally decided that I guess I want to take up the challenge of trying to become an elite player in the AFL League.
What did you know of Nathan Buckley before that day? What did he tell you, and what did you learn out of it that made you think that you indeed could be an AFL player?
Well, you know, Bucks is pretty much like Darren Lockyer is to rugby league. He's a legend of, you know, AFL, and you know, me come from a rugby league background, you know, I knew of his status in the game. So I guess just having his reassurance that day, and I guess my technique of my kick and handball, and obviously, you know, how fast and willing I was able to learn in a couple of drills that they showed me. Their feedback, him and Jason, I guess. You know, I was always confident in my ability, but going down there I was a bit nervous having a kick with those two legends. But once we finished up, and I guess they said, you know, we pretty much think you got the basic fundamentals at a sound level that you can improve on, I guess, over the next year and a half to become you know, a successful AFL player. I guess from there on in, I'm confident. I've always have been. You know, I'm not going from, you know, a top-grade first rugby league player playing Maroons, test play, swapping over to play second grade in the AFL. And, you know, I want to really make a go at it. You know, learn along the way and become as best as I can in that league. So, you know, I guess only time will tell whether, you know, I can do it. But in my own head, I know I can do it.
You went to Andrew Demetriou's house. What did he have to say to you on the day, and how compelling was that? And have you spoken to the NRL Chief Executive, David Gallop, and what's been his reaction?
I haven't spoken to David Gallop personally. I've saw his comments on the news, and it seemed pretty positive. You know, he had nothing bad to say, I guess. But going over to Andrew's place in the afternoon, he whipped up a nice brew of tea for myself and girlfriend Emma. And we just had a good chat. He just basically wanted to get to know me on a one-on-one basis in a casual environment, and what better place to do that than his own home.
How many games have you actually played of AFL footy back at school, and what type of player were you? And given that you're averaging 23 tackles a game in rugby, are we going to see you smash some blokes?
Oh, I don't know if I'll smash any blokes, mate. I'll do my best to tackle them, though. Back in Churchill, I only played for fun. Never took it really too seriously. It was just my final year in grade 12 where I played probably 8 or 9 games in the GPS competition up here. And I guess, you know, I really don't know what type of player I was back then. I knew I was playing up front and kicking a few goals. I guess it was a good start. But, yeah, wherever that takes me, you know, from here on out, I'm not too sure. But I guess, you know, when we go on a camp, I guess, down the Gold Coast halfway through next year, I'll know a bit more about where I'm going to be playing and I guess my role in the team.
Could you ask Craig 2 questions for me?
Yes.
Seeing as he's such a smart ass.
Yes.
What nationality?
What nationality is Carmichael?
He's born in New Zealand.
Born in New Zealand.
Bit of Maori.
I would imagine so.
And would he have any idea, and I know he has an
Turn
idea.
around, will you?
I've been told not to look at you.
You're all right.
I don't want to leave
us.
What package, remuneration, would this man have been offered, either directly or indirectly, do you think, in your capacity as the world's greatest gatherer of news?
I don't know exactly.
Well, have a
but
stab at it.
I believe it to be north of $700,000 total a year.
A year?
And he's
Is
already
that just to play?
He's already paid for that already. I mean, that's already ticked off. That's a media spend over the last 24, and half of that would be funded by the AFL through AFL Queensland and image rights and development of him and his brand as well. So it's a fantastic story, and congratulations to the AFL.
It is. It's a massive story. The NRL still reeling, I believe. What about the Richmond Footy Club? Where are they at in their search for coach?
Well, they're still at stage 1. This is the most intense coaching process we've seen for quite some time. The last 3 days in the city, the Tigers have been conducting a series of interviews. Damien Hardwick went in on Tuesday morning. You can see him walking in there to meet the subcommittee for the first time. Anthony Rock was also interviewed on Tuesday. There's Ken Hinkley, who was interviewed today, the Geelong assistant coach. Alan Richardson was also interviewed there, the Bomber assistant coach, at length yesterday. They were all given around about 2 hours to present. And Jade Rawlings was interviewed this morning and seemed in good spirits. His interview went the shortest, which to me suggests that he's a gimme for stage 2, and they've seen enough to send him through to the next round of candidates, which will be around 6. Brad Scott still in there as well, and plenty of candidates. This will take quite some time. Still 2 stages to go. One of those candidates who's been interviewed already is Leon Cameron, and tonight the Footy Show caught up with him very briefly.
Last week I met with the Tigers, but I mean along the lines of I think they're going through their process. It's a great process, and we'll just see where it goes from here.
Well done to Leon Cameron and the team from the AFL Coaches Association. He went down tonight to Diggers Rest and Rockbank to help that junior league who'd had an incident in recent times. Still on the Tigers, Matthew Richardson has made a quicker-than-return comeback. Great news for the Tigers. He'll be playing in the VFL this weekend as part of his recuperation from a hamstring injury. And today, the Footy Show caught up with him.
Yeah, we've been busy.
No, I was always confident I'd get back for a couple of games. I've ended up getting back 2 or 3 weeks earlier than I thought. So, yeah, it all went to plan. Yeah, on Saturday out at Coburg, 2 o'clock. Get there, all the Richmond fans, they've always been good, and the Coburg supporters. So probably just a few nerves to see how the injury goes. You know, coming off surgery, hopefully it'll stand up okay and I can get a couple of kicks.
Beautiful work, Hutchie. Wish Richo well, and good work by you. Please thank Craig Hutchison tonight.
We're talking seriously about Big Cho going out to Coburg.
I know.
This is one of the all-timers, Gary.
I think it'll only be for 1 week, Jim.
We've been dizzy. I'm getting dizzy. We've been to New South Wales to speak to Carmichael. We've been to Ernst & Young to interview the Richmond hopefuls. We've been everywhere, Gary. I can't handle it.
Earn your money, Foss. Why don't you earn your money by having a look at this game? Melbourne taking on Richmond at the MCG on Sunday. The Demons, 16th on the ladder, 3 wins, 14 losses, went down to the Swans by 18 points last week. Mackenzie's out and Liam Jarrah out with an ankle sprain. Frawley, Spencer, Grimes, Jetta and Sylvia come into the squad. Won 5 of their last 8 against the Tigers by an average margin of 39 points. They play the Richmond Footy Club, 12th on the ladder, 4 wins, 12 losses. One of those wins was last week against Essendon by 5 points. Kicked 10 of their 15 goals from turnovers. Good pressure from the Tigers. Jared Sylvester's out. Into the squad comes Rance, Tuck, Moore and Coughlin. Who's winning, Bill?
I think the Tigers will win this one, Gary. I've done all my calculations and sums and they can still finish 9th.
Surely.
Tigers, Twiggs got them playing a better brand of footy.
Richmond, they've got some really good ins coming back this week.
So? Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know about that.
Oh.
I couldn't pick a winner. I couldn't. No good tipping. And
I think the Tigers are going to win, Foss, sadly.
Oh, OK, Gary. Well, then that's almost home and hosed then they are, if Gary picks them.
Well, you've also jumped. You've not only been all around Australia tonight, Sam, you also headed to Perth earlier in the week for a ripping edition of Street Talk. That's coming up next. And Shane Crawford has a crack at another world record on the Footy Show.
Following the hard-fought derby here on the weekend, which I was at incidentally, Mark Harvey said the word tanking should be thrown out the window. We agree. All we got to do now is find another word for the word tanking. Let's ask the folk in WA.
Do you think sides actually deliberately don't try? You ever thought about this?
Not in the West.
No, well, they just no good just without having to worry about not trying, aren't they? That came out of your nose, that.
We're asking about football.
Yes.
You know anything about football?
I do.
What do you know about it?
I know a little bit.
Do you know where the Dockers and the Eagles are at the minute on the ladder?
I know Dockers is 4th from the bottom.
They're 3rd from the bottom.
Oh, sorry, 3rd from the bottom. I haven't watched it for 2 weeks, but yeah. And Eagles, aren't they 7th?
They're 2nd last from the bottom.
Oh, what?
What's that?
You ass, what are you doing here?
Well, just a term of endearment for family friends, just a greeting as...
I'm from Melbourne anyway.
Oh, shit, eh? What word would you think you'd substitute for tanking?
Faking?
That's it, Dolly. Ever fake... yourself, Dolly, ever...
Oh, look, everyone has, haven't they?
You ever faked it?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, what? Well, how
Have
often?
you?
Well, I don't have to fake it. I can't get it going in the first place.
He's pretty hot in person.
Hey?
Pretty hot in person.
Well, what?
You're not pecs. You are. Look how tight he is.
I don't suppose there'd be any chance I could reciprocate, would there? Yeah, it's well done. See if you can find my name.
John Newman. So that's not you.
How did you go?
We had a look.
Did you went through the 8 million names and just...
No, I saw
another busy day?
No, we had a contest who could find the biggest dickhead the quickest. And you were on it.
Who do you play with?
I play for Belmont Bombers.
The Belmont Bombers?
Yeah.
Who the hell are they?
They in Belmont, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be in Belmont, yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, sir. Say it again.
All veteran pension, no photography, no nothing.
Oh, well, I thought you wanted to speak to us. What's that say?
Oh, they're my children's names.
Let's have a look. See if I can read them. Just testing my eyes. Paula and Nat.
No, Lauren and Nat.
What? And what are you modelling?
House of Ernest Hair.
House furniture?
House of Ernest for hair.
Oh, hair. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it said house furniture. Well,
Yeah, I know.
That's good, Jack. I like it. Corduroy.
Yeah.
You keep wearing that, that'll come back in fashion one day.
Yeah, I will. I try.
Yeah, I try. Oh, what is that?
No touch finger here.
Oh, all right. What is it?
No. Yeah, you
Yeah, off. Yeah, piss off. What is wrong with you? I'm talking to this man here. What the hell's wrong with you? Sorry about that. This is Bill Casey.
Yeah.
He's Stevie Wonder's, you're not his producer, eh?
Yeah.
He's an Australian producer.
I wish I was.
Yesterday, me, yesterday.
Yes,
Nice to meet you.
You're not Gary Lyon, huh?
Yeah.
His brother.
Yeah, I'm his brother.
No, but we can give advice to the Dockers.
Right, Dockers, we can. I like
Come on,
Dockers.
give them some advice. So how would you like them to play?
Kick the friggin' football. Sorry.
Good, isn't it? You're like a picket fence, you. Police. Oh, no. Yeah. government. This is a government agent. Mate, this is a government agent. Don't be filming. No, I've got him. I'm handling him.
Put the cameras
He's down, sir.
Tank.
Yeah, tanking means they don't try.
Are you allowed to say suck on TV?
So, you say anything.
I don't think they tanked. I think they
Mate,
sucked.
you can say anything you like on TV.
I think they sucked.
So from you were breastfeeding the little nipper.
Yeah, I was.
Versatile. I knew you were versatile. Man.
Oh, most say kill defends, huh?
Got any advice from where maybe you could give the coach, Johnny Worsfold?
Oh, wish her a word. Goodness, go down on your plate.
And if they ever see me, I'm telling them right now, you suck.
There you are. And I'll say it too. There you are. You got them black and white.
Black and white, top deck.
Welcome back to the Footy Show. Sam on the streets of Perth doing his absolute best. Now we're going to slide over to Bill Brownless to take a look at the next game, West Coast and Essendon. Bill.
Thank you, Jim. The West Coast Eagles are 14th on the ladder. They're 4 wins at Subiaco. They lost to Fremantle last week. They've lost 9 out of their last 10 games, and they've made a couple of changes. Well, they've dropped Hanson and Seavey, 2 senior players, and brought in Callum Wilson for his first game, a rookie from South Fremantle, Davis, McKenzie, McKinley and Stengline there on the 25-man squad. And the Essendon Football Club, 8th on the ladder. Huge game for Essendon, a must-win game, and they've brought in 7 players. Hocking, Skipworth, Lonigan, Nagel, Hooley, Jetta and Quinn. And out go 4 big outs here. Unfortunately, Mark McVeigh, Matthew Lloyd with that heel, Jason Winderlick, who's been a great player for him all year, and Owen Davey. So 4 big outs there, which will really hurt them. But you'd think they'd take over a running side over to Subiaco and run the legs off the West Coast Eagles, who don't seem to want to win.
I see. Early.
Some nasty outs there for Essendon, but West Coast to win, hopefully.
West Coast?
Yep, over there.
Brownie?
West Coast will get beaten by Essendon.
Samuel?
Now, Bill, I'm with you, mate. I'm not suggesting anything, and if I tell you what, they've lost complete interest to West Coast, and I tell you, I don't know what word you give it. Tanking, you can say anything you like. They are not interested in winning. The players are. I don't think the players are. I think they're knackered for this year, and they know it, and they're not interested.
Oh, I tell you what, this is a very proud footy state, Western Australia, and the fans over there.
You should have been there on the weekend and seen the 2 proud football sides play.
They will not be enjoying being where they are.
They're loving it. West
love
Coast are loving it because their season's knackered and they think, well, let's get something out of it by finishing low.
A man who loves it is Shane Crawford, and he is having a crack at another world record. The man to handle it, the MC, if you like, out there, is our own Gary Lyon. Gareth.
Yes, thank you, Jim. Very, very tough conditions. The rain is just starting to fall. Now, what we're doing here, we're going for a world record attempt number 7, the fastest 100 metres in a pantomime horse costume. Adrian Mott, the 2006 store gift winners up the front. Give us a wave, Adrian. Silly Shane's at the back, so we're going to send them down to the start. And Chris Sheedy, off you go, boys. Where you go?
Which way we go?
That way. Chris Sheedy's here from the Guinness World Records. Chris, now, just explain exactly. We've got 100 metres mapped out here to them exactly.
It
and
is.
What is the time they've got to beat?
Yeah, the current world record is 13.51 seconds. 2 important things with this one. Yep. They need to stay within their pantomime costume the whole way, and they need to stay in the lane, just the same as a normal 100-metre race.
Gary, it's persisting down out there.
I know. It's made it very, very difficult, Jim. So your man there, Graham Brown, from the Melville Junior Footy Club, I don't reckon he'd be feeling that confident, but what's he going to win?
Well, let's hope that there's Van der Hum, that horse. Now, listen, $5,000 is the loser's check. Brownie, by the way, very nice to meet you, Graham. Yep. Round of applause for Graham Brown from Melville. There we go. And if you win, you take away the 10 kegs, which is very nice. Melville, a beautiful part of Perth, on the water there, southern part. And you've flown yourself all the way over here, mate, which is very nice.
There's a few of us that have come over. So.
Oh, wonderful. Good boys and girls. Nice of us to spring for some airline tickets, Samuel, for the Melville Footy Club. Now, let's get back out to see if this world record can be broken. Gary.
All right, Jim. Now, the boys are down at the starting line and we've got our official starter, Bill Brownless. Can you hear us, Bill?
Yes, Gary, here I am. Ready to start the race.
All right, well, Chris Sheedy's here. He's got the clock. He's going to time it. We're going to get out of the road at 13.5 seconds is the time to beat. So we're in your hands, William.
Come on, Shane.
Righto, here we are.
Not even in position.
Hang on, Shane.
Which way are we going?
Well, get that way. Get over there. You right? You ready? On your marks, set.
Oh, they're off. Very good run considering the conditions. I'm not going for the time until they're back.
Gary.
What?
That horse was bitten in half.
I know. It ran a little bit strangely. Shane, Adrian, 2006 over here, boys. 13. Take your head off. You can take your head off. Shane.
Oh, no.
No. 13.5 seconds was the time to beat. Is this the 4th world record? Chris Sheedy from Guinness World Records, the official time, please.
Well, guys, I actually find that quite mind-blowing. As you know, the record was 13.51 seconds. The time you just ran was 12.0. Congratulations. Another world record.
That is extraordinary, boys. I want you to take that Guinness World Record and make your way into the studio.
You're a wet tracker, Gaz.
You are a wet tracker.
You're a wet tracker.
Make your way into the studio, boys.
Which way is it?
That is unbelievable. Jim, back to you.
Gary, I'm going to hand this over to Bondi here from the Melville Footy Club. Bondi.
Thank you. Hey. Thanks, guys.
Oh, well done. Stay there, mate. You're right.
It might be premature, mate. Guinness have asked us. The prerequisite is that they have to be drug tested. Placed as performance-enhancing drugs. We'll be doing that when they come in. But all the best, just temporarily all the best. Yeah. We might have to just take $5,000 off that.
All right, we're going to take a break is what we're going to do. Let's just, as we go to the break, enjoy the closing moments of the big race.
Of Daily Picture Studios presents the Almost Legends of Football. You the fat man.
What's the special?
Hey, there we are, Brownie, Almost Footy Legends. And I've got Brown Dog with me. We'll go straight into it and have a look at this one here. Little Tyson Patterson from West Meadows. He picks up the ball now. Go, Tyson. He runs it around one. He has one bounce. He has another bounce. He has another bounce. And he runs, look how far he runs here. He's still running. Go. Has another bounce. Oh. And Tyson goes back. Great work, Tyson.
Here we go, Billy. We've got Liam Gathers. Jesse Pollen takes a good grab on the wing. Got as high as I do, Billy.
Oh, turn it up, Brown Dog. You never got that high, but a good grab. And Fountain Gate versus Beaconfield here. Have a look at this goal by Caleb Cropley here, but have a look at the celebrations. Are you ready? Oh, let's have a look at the celebrations. Which one did you like, Doug?
I like the third one, mate, the somersaults.
Let's see what the crowd like. What about the first one? Tyson, 4 bounces? Oh, crikey. The second one, the big grab? No. And what about the third one? Callop and the celebration? Well done. Evan Serakowski, you won this from Cranbourne, the third one. Well done.
Thanks to Crazy John's, your mobile experts, our weekly winner takes home a brand new phone from the huge range of phones at Crazy John's. While our 2 runners-up get $500 cash courtesy of our good friends at Crazy John's. And the major prize winner at the end of the year takes home the multi-award-winning Nissan Navara STX Dual Cab 4x4 with a powerful 126 kilowatt turbo diesel engine, a massive 3,000 kilograms brake towing capacity, and unique utility track load restraint system. Valued at more than $47,000. Nissan Navara is tough at work, hard at play.
Well done. Send your entries into Almost Footy Legends, PO Box 800, Richmond, Victoria 3121. And congratulations to number 3 for winning that one.
We had the snickometer on that, I think number 1.
Yeah.
Brownie runs it, Bill.
Yeah, he does.
That's the end of it. It's number 3 now.
Well, let's get Nadia Comaneci next
I'll
week.
tell you who we're going to get in, Samuel, and that is the 4-time, ladies and gentlemen, world record holder with his partner Adrian Mott, Shane Crawford.
Oh, no. Now, they've asked, the Guinness people have asked us to just take a urine sample from the...
All right, well done, you two. I think we've seen enough of you, Shane.
Wonder, you stupid boy.
Adrian, can you believe the imbecile you've been saddled with, literally?
Oh, world champion.
Oh, please.
Shane, you might as well run with a burqa over your head. I mean, you...
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, Adrian Mott, Shane Crawford, world record holders. Adrian Mott, of course, former Storm gift winner as well. Now, let's take a look at the next game. Port Adelaide against the Hawks. Amy Stadium on Saturday. Port belted in the showdown last week. Pretty much have to win this game to stay in the hunt, you'd think. They've got a very good record against the Hawks. Won 9 of their last 11. Brogan, Hartlett, Logan, Salter and Thomas come in for the power. Ebert and Salopek have been omitted. As we swing across to the Hawkers. Dropped a heartbreaker last week, as we know. Won just 2 of their last 10 games at Amy Stadium, coming into what was just a squad at this stage: Stokes, Tuck, Bill and Whitecross.
Yeah, the Hawks for me, they were pretty impressive last week and they've just got to keep on winning this, so Hawkers.
I think, I think the Hawks, they were fantastic getting their full squad back. How did you get over it last week, Sully? How did you train this week?
It's been a great week, actually. We were so good for 3.5 quarters and let ourselves down, but you know, reassessed earlier in the week and very much looking forward to Sunday afternoon.
Sam?
Yep, the Hawkers. Yep, the Hawkers.
Yeah, Hawks are certainties. Last game of round 18, Sydney taking on St Kilda. Swans 11th on the ladder, 7 wins, 10 losses. Beat Melbourne by 18 points last week. Conceded their lowest score for the season. Out Kristen Thornton, and in comes Jared Crouch. The Demon. No, sorry, the Saints. On top of the ladder. 17 wins, undefeated, beat the Western Bulldogs. This side could not be going any better. Nick Revolt, 83 marks
That couldn't be going any
on
better.
the lead, 31 more than any other player in the competition. Sam Gilbert's out with an ankle injury. Justin Kajitsi comes back in. They don't miss a beat. I think it's unanimous, boys. Anyone for the Swans?
No. How many goals will Sydney kick?
About 7.
All right, before we get to the break, Big Brownie, you've got a bit of squaring up to do because it's my understanding that the East Warrnambool boys have already been onto you.
Oh, they're terrorising me for calling them dirty, but they're a great footy club. They're wearing the pink next week against Russell's Creek to raise money for the Jane McGrath, the McGrath Foundation and breast cancer. So ring up Steve McCabe at the East Warrnambool Footy Club. There's 4 to auction off, so going to a great cause, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Go on, you boys.
Just very, very quickly, we saw some vision of Ken Hinkley. Now, he wasn't going to his interview. Believe it or not, he was going next door to where the interviews were being held. That is why he wasn't dressed in a suit, as you would for an interview like that. But he is part of the process, Ken Hinkley, and he will be interviewed. So, the irony of that, William, could you believe it?
Has he already with the ring, did he?
Someone has.
Just take it pretty casually down there, Wilbur.
Well, he wasn't going to the interview.
Oh, I see.
Have you had a chat to him?
No.
Well, you need a coach.
I'm not chatting to anyone, and we're going to a break because we're back to wrap up after this.
Well, Gary, what a great night it's been. Why don't you wrap it up and say thanks very much, Jonathan Brown.
Oh, thanks very much, Jonathan Brown.
And thanks, Bradley Shaw, for coming in.
Bradley Shaw for coming on.
Fat Billy.
Fat Billy.
And thanks to Crazy John.
Thanks, Crazy John.
Gaz, you're doing it beautifully. And what about Natural Blonde?
Natural Blonde.
Carlton Natural Blonde.
Carlton Natural Blonde.
Yeah, and say it's great to be here and we're wrapping up and hope you've had a good night. And didn't we have fun? We broke a world record and we'll see you next week. Go and do all that quickly.
No, not really.
That's Bones, by the way, from the East Warrnambool Footy Club. Thanks for your company, thanks to the ripping panel, and we look forward to seeing you